I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I have prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. And unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy. I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
February 22nd, 2024 should have been a day of celebration. 13 candles flickered atop a cake, each one marking a year in the life of Madeline Soto. The sun had set over Kissimmee, Florida, and the warmth of the day faded into a quiet tension. Madeline, a vibrant 13-year-old who loved music, art, and dance, should have been surrounded by laughter. But instead, the apartment she called home was silent, filled only with shadows. Her mother, busy with work, was absent, and the man who lived there as part of the family, Stephan Sterns, lingered in the background. That night, Madeline returned from her grandmother's home in tears, unwilling to step back through the door she had once called safe. The next morning brought an unsettling stillness. February 26, 2024 began like any other day, but Madeline never arrived at school. Claims were made that she had been dropped off, but evidence contradicted these statements. Her phone, typically alive with messages and photos, remained strangely silent. By the evening, her absence was alarming, and her mother reported her missing. Hours of uncertainty stretched into days, as neighbors and authorities began piecing together a timeline that no one could have imagined. The Orange County Sheriff's Office launched a public plea for information. Flyers were posted, alerts were sent, and volunteers combed through fields, parks, and wooded areas. Madeline's last known locations were retraced. Authorities examined every detail of her life, from school routines to family dynamics, seeking the smallest clue. Her community spoke of her energy, her creativity, and her kindness. Each person who came forward painted a picture of a child full of life, whose sudden disappearance left a void of fear and confusion. As detectives dug deeper, inconsistencies emerged. Statements about Madeline's last day did not align with evidence. Surveillance footage revealed movements that contradicted initial claims. Investigators began to suspect that the timeline presented to them was carefully manipulated. The atmosphere grew tense, with each revelation revealing a life in peril and a community desperate for answers. Within days, investigators focused on the man who had been living in the home with Madeline and her mother. Evidence gathered, including surveillance footage and digital records, led to his arrest. Charges were filed, and the man was taken into custody. Law enforcement described the case as particularly complex, requiring careful analysis of hours of footage, digital activity, and witness statements. Every step of the investigation highlighted the vulnerability of Madeline and the painstaking efforts to understand what had happened during those critical hours. On March 1, 2024, 5 days after she was reported missing, the search ended tragically. Madeline's body was found in a secluded wooded area. The announcement devastated the community, confirming fears that had been growing with each passing day. Investigators revealed that she had died prior to the morning she was supposed to be at school. Her loss sent shockwaves through neighbors, friends, and the wider public. Authorities urged the community to process the grief while continuing to support the ongoing investigation. Madeline's mother faced unimaginable heartbreak. Publicly, she described the shock and confusion of discovering the truth. How could someone entrusted to care for her daughter commit such a crime? The layers of grief, guilt, and disbelief were visible to everyone watching, as the community tried to reconcile their memories of a happy child with the tragedy that had unfolded. Questions about oversight, trust, and responsibility emerged, leaving a lingering unease. The months that followed were filled with legal proceedings. Evidence was presented in court, showing the planning, deception, and actions that led to Madeline's death. Pleas were entered, hearings were held, and a sentence was determined. The man responsible received multiple life sentences, ensuring he would never harm another child.
Stephan Sterns, you have had the opportunity to hear that anguish and fury from your actions. As to first-degree premeditated murder of Madeline Soto, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to the capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto while she was under the age of 12, for each count you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the sexual battery of Madeline Soto between the ages of 12 and 18, you are adjudicated guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the lewd and lascivious molestation of Madeline Soto, you are sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. These sentences will run concurrently, meaning at the same time. The state of Florida has withdrawn their notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. These are the maximum.
Courtroom footage and statements revealed the stark contrast between justice achieved and the life that had been lost. Each hearing added weight to the enormity of the crime and the enduring impact on the family. Madeline's biological father addressed the courtroom, his voice heavy with grief. He spoke of the irreparable damage, the loss that could never be repaired, and the anger and sorrow that consumed him. Every word highlighted the depth of the tragedy and the challenge of reconciling justice with the pain of a life cut short. His testimony resonated far beyond the walls of the courtroom, reminding viewers of the personal toll of such crimes. Madeline's story left a permanent mark on the community. Friends, neighbors, and teachers spoke of her potential, her energy, and the bright light she carried. Her disappearance and death prompted discussions about child safety, vigilance, and awareness. The case served as a reminder of the importance of protective oversight and how even seemingly ordinary homes can conceal tragedy. Memorials, vigils, and tributes sought to honor her memory and prevent future loss. While the story ends in tragedy, Madeline's life continues to inspire. Her creativity, curiosity, and joy are remembered, shared, and celebrated. The case has informed policies, heightened awareness, and left a lasting imprint on those who knew her. Her story is a testament to the fragility of life, the resilience of communities, and the urgent need to protect the vulnerable. The tale of Madeline Soto is both haunting and essential. It reminds viewers that evil can hide in plain sight and that the consequences of misplaced trust can be devastating. As the story closes, the message resonates. Vigilance, empathy, and action are crucial in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. The echoes of Madeline's life call for remembrance, reflection, and responsibility.